Hello, hello, hi, gigpreneur. What is going on? Welcome. Happy Friday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi. I'm that old corporate guy that used to work 12, 14, 16-hour days, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week, until my pancreas quit on me, shut down on me, left me unemployable, which means I can't get a job, right, with what I have. And I have nothing to fall back on. So I don't know if you've ever hit rock bottom like that, but it sucks. And so I was redirected to this whole online space and this whole gig economy. Now I help folks like you, folks like me, to start a side gig online and grow it using social media. Why not? Why not? Let's go. Let's do this dance. So tonight I have an interesting one. I don't think I've ever done. No, I haven't. I've never done a live like this, but this was inspired by a question that I received today from somebody. I, you may know this, you may not know this, but I reach out to folks during the day, during the night, whenever I can, all the time to see if they're open to taking a look at creating a side gig, a side business online. And I ask people this many times. Team money, what is good? So yeah, people like you, my man. So people ask me, when I ask them, hey, are you open to taking a look at a side business? And if you are, great, I'll share some info. If not, no big deal. And normally, what I get are the usual, questions or objections or what have you. But and I get the one that I'm going to share with you once in a while. I get it, but today I decided to answer it in a whole different way. And I thought I bring that, I do a little bit of homework and then I bring you some really good information. Okay, is that okay? Yeah. Some of you may not like this, but oh well. Most of you are going to really appreciate this. So the question I was asked, now this is a person that is on Instagram. Of course, I don't name any names. Team Money is about to bounce off like my checks. No, hopefully not. Both my checks and Team Money. Team Money is on Facebook, you guys. We're live, by the way, on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and so you can certainly follow me if you're not following me already. But so I asked this person, and this was a person that I noticed on Instagram. She is promoting um, some really good health tips, health advice, right? And I think she may be a doctor. I'm not sure what type, but I think I remember saying doctor so and so, right? And she's obviously asking people to tune in and listen to her advice. And I thought, that's interesting. Let me ask her a question. I asked her, are you affiliated with um, any product line? The stuff you talk about, they're cool. So do you have like a product line that you recommend people to? And she said, no, I don't, not yet. That was the answer she gave me, not yet. And I said, okay, are you open to that? Are you open to creating something like that and attach it to what you have and create an income, a side business? And I said, she goes, yes, I'm open to it. I'd like to learn a little bit about it. I said, I have a 9-minute video that I send out. I'd like you to watch that, and then we can talk about that afterwards. And here's what the comeback was. Before I watched the 9 minutes, and then she lists 5 questions. Okay. Now, I already know the 5 questions. That's why I asked her to watch the 9-minute clip because I knew that was going to answer her questions. So I said, you know what? The best thing to do is to watch that 9 minutes that answers most of your questions, and then we can kind of talk about it. Before I put time in and watch that video, and here's the answer. Here's a magic question that inspired this live. She says, do I have to buy any products? Do I have to build a team? Do I have to um, do I have to pay to start a business? These were the 3 questions. Do I have to pay to start the business? Do I have to buy any products? Do I have to build a team? Right now, if you don't know me, well, you'll know me tonight. If this is your first time, hopefully it won't be your last time. But I am very direct. I don't sugarcoat stuff. I'm like I often say, I'm not here to babysit or be babysat. I'm 53 years old. I'm not 12, and hopefully you're not 12, right? So when you ask me those questions, I could be the person and say, "Oh, sweetheart, let me just give you a little oh." Or I could say, which this is what I said. I said, um, I did say this is a business, not a nonprofit, correct? At the end of the day, you don't have to do a single thing you don't want to. You don't have to watch the 9-minute video. You don't have to buy a product. You don't have to start a business. You don't have to build a team. You don't have to do anything. Now, let me give you the 2025 version, a real good answer to this question now. You know, when you take a look at opportunities online, that 9-minute clip, by the way, if you're interested in that, drop the word 9 in the comments, and that explains all these terminologies, all the available ways you can make some money online, and all the avenues are going to ask you to invest something. If you understand business at all, you tell me, if you were to be the owner of a company and you were to bring people to work for you or to franchise for you, right? Would you tell them, hey, come on down? There's no franchise fee, there's no store fee, there's no inventory fee. In fact, there's no fees at all. We just bend over and we just give you the warehouse, we give you the store frontage, we give you the lease, we give you the inventory, we give you all of that. In fact, we do that for everybody. Everything is for free for everybody. Now, at some point, you're probably going to expect a paycheck. You're probably going to say, well, when do I get paid? Well, the question is not when, it's like how. How the hell are you going to get paid? Nobody paid a single dime. So where do you think this money is going to come through? Kumbaya, my lord? Really? That's how it works for you? I'd like to sign up in that world. But let me give you some hard numbers, okay? Hard numbers. So I don't have a problem with a lot of nonprofit organizations, but I do have a problem with nonprofit organizations. And I'll tell you why. Because there's no such a thing as a nonprofit organization. Every nonprofit organization is in profit. Challenge me. Challenge me with any nonprofit organization that's broke. Go ahead. I'll wait. There is no such thing as nonprofit organization. The nonprofit organizations are non-existent because they're all in profit because somebody pays for them. Somebody. So let me tell you how you start a nonprofit organization with zero money. The filing fee, this is in California, is $30. If you want that certified mail, it's an extra $5. For the state, you got to get a statement of information, which is Form SI 100. That's $20. And that's got to be done within 90 days. For IRS, Uncle Sam, yeah, since it's nonprofit. You got to do federal tax exempt recognition 501c3. If you do the simplified form, which is the 1023 easy simple, it's 275. If you do the full form, it's $600. We're not done. In California or your state, you got to do a registration as a charitable organization. Okay, that's $50. If you like to reserve your name, the name of your nonprofit, that's an extra $10. We're not done. You can look this stuff up. These are exact numbers as of 10 minutes ago in California. Expedited filing with Secretary of State. Are you ready for this? $350 to $750. You don't even have an organization yet. Oh, I forgot. Maybe you like to get an attorney. Guess what that's going to cost? Well, you decide. Okay. So, to start a nonprofit, because you're such a good-hearted person, you just don't want any profit for you. You're going to starve to death and run an organization because you're just such a good person. To start a nonprofit organization, it's going to cost you anywhere between $390 to $815. That's to start a nonprofit. What would you think it would take to start a profit of an organization? Free? If a nonprofit costs $360, so a profit one would cost $0. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Don't fool yourself. Do not fool yourself. You're starting a business. I guarantee you that you that are complaining about a couple $100 to start a business, whoever you is, right? I guarantee you would not last working for free more than 3 months. So you expect to start a business with $0, but yet you expect a paycheck. So this money comes from not customers, not people in the business, because everybody's free. So how would they pay you? So if you're watching this live and I reach out to you and I ask you if you're open to taking a look at a business, and if you tell me, do I have to buy products? Do I have to build a team? Do I have to pay to get started? I'm not going to be the guy to say, oh, darling, sweetheart, don't stress. No, I'm not that guy. I'm going to tell you, yes, if you like to get paid. Besides, it doesn't die. It may not even cost you a dime. You know why? Because you may take a look at that 9-minute clip and you say, oh my God, this is disgusting. I can never do this. There you go. You're done. Won't cost you a dime. Simple. I mean, it's really that simple. It blows my mind that people who are claiming to be doctors, because they got their doctorate for free, you know, nonprofit, that kind of, because they wouldn't pay. Do I have to pay to become a doctor? No, no, don't worry about it. The 125 to $800,000 loan on your name, no, on the house. That's why people pay their student loans till when? Till death, because it was free to be a doctor. It was free to be an engineer. It was free to be a real estate agent. It was free to be an insurance agent. It was free to be a chef. It was free to be a barber. You never took a class, you never took a certificate. So it's all free. How silly does that sound? So again, if I reach out to you, don't ask me that question, because I'm probably going to slam it. Silly. At the end of the day, if you're selling a product, okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to people? You're just going to sell the product you don't even use yourself? Ethical. Wow. Good morals. Let me sell you this amazing toothpaste that I've never used before. Let me sell you this amazing collagen that I've never even seen in my hand before. Let me sell you this vitamin pack that I've never used or seen before. Good morals. Free business, promote crap that you don't even use, and expect to be rich. That's logical to me. Where do I sign? How dumb does that sound? Sounds dumb, silly, primitive, 1800 years ago kind of conversation. And you know what? For those of you out there who are reaching out to other people and asking them to, if they're open to your products or services, and they're giving you this crap, I want you to be what my mentor says, and I love this word. I want you to be postured, which means stand tall, firm, and just answer them the way they ask the question. Now, this question, does it cost to get started? Like, seriously? Like, what would you like me to say? No, we just take hugs for payment. Like, what would you like me to say to that question? No, seriously. I want some of you guys to drop in the comments, this is what I want to hear. You want to hear that, no, there's no cost, right? Okay. But when you find something like that, you let me know and I'll sign up with you. But I do expect a paycheck. So I don't know how they're going to give you a paycheck for free, but you know, maybe it's nonprofit, you know. Because everybody at nonprofit organizations, they don't work for money. No, it's all free. They don't get paid. They're all volunteers. How silly is that? How silly is that? It's pretty silly. Hey, I have my friend Glow on right now. She sells beads. Okay, she makes like amazing beads, and I just had them on actually. Beads and necklaces and bracelets. Ask her, say, hey, did you get started with this for free? I mean, did you go to the swap meet to the bead store and then you just picked up all these beads and they said, you know what, it's on the house because it's a free to get started business? She'll tell you. Yeah, she's all like, yeah, I've seen her beads. Like they're like a world of beads, right? And every week she has to go what? Buy freaking inventory, not by hugs, by real money. She never asked the question, oh, is this business of beads? Can I get started for free? What do you think the bead man would tell her? Oh, yeah, honey, there's no cost to get started. So when you ask me, do I have to buy any products? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy products. You don't have to build a team. You don't have to get a customer. You don't have to call anybody. You don't have to text anybody. You don't have to show up to any trainings. You don't have to watch any Zooms. You don't have to go to any conventions. I'm not your dad. What am I going to do? Honey, did you go to the convention? Did you watch the training? Did you do this? I got my own crap to do. You start a business, you learn, you do it. So don't ask silly stuff to build this story in your head. Ah, oh, I knew it. Yeah, duh. Then why do you freaking ask the question if you know the answer? What you flipping a coin that, oh my god, maybe this one, because there's all these businesses you get started for. Like I just told you, it costs $390 to $815 to start a nonprofit organization. Since you love to work for free, because no nonprofit is profitable, right? And then you expect to start a business, even beads, for free. How dumb is that? Do I have to buy products? It's like Glow saying, well, do I have to buy more beads? What is the bead man going to say? I don't know. Do you want to make more beads? Beads are not going to have kids. It blows my mind. Like I told you, I'm not that guy to be like, I've never been that guy to be like, oh, baby, no, you don't have to buy any more beads. We'll just plant a bead in the garden and you'll have a bead tree. Give me a break. The right thing to say to yourself is, I'm not ready. I don't want to invest. I'm scared. I don't think I can do it. That's more like it. So dealing with the source of the issue than rather throwing it at somebody else and then calling it, I told you so. I knew it. At the end of the day, if you knew it, then who's more dumb? I'm just calling it like it is. Who's more dumb? Me or you? You knowing the answer and then asking the question, hoping you get a different answer. It's like, what the? Blows my mind. So, if you're planning to start a business of any kind, listen, I'm going to tell you something that's really rough. Really rough. Okay? Let me first think, should I say this? Even if you're a working person, okay, you're an escort guy or girl nowadays, right? That even costs money to start. You know why? Because you got to be clean. You got to take care of yourself. And that's not done by hugs, right? So do yourself a favor, prepare yourself and tame your expectations. Be realistic about them. Don't live in a fantasy world. This is the reason why you will not succeed, because you don't treat it like reality. At the end of the day, like I said, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to even get up to eat if you don't want to. You don't have to do anything. You do because you are considering the result, right? So, yes, there is a cost with any business. And you got to be able to say, okay, I have this cost and I have this business. How do I turn this cost into a profit? How do I sell more than I buy beads? If I'm buying $100 worth of beads a week, then I better sell more than $100. That's the question. How do I do that? How can I get creative? How can I market myself, market my products or services in a better way to reach more audience? Those are the questions you want to ask if you get into a business. How silly would it be to get a Subway franchise and then call Mr. Subway and say, do I have to buy bread every month? You don't have to do anything. So, tame your expectations. Know what you're going to face and decide if that's what you want to face. Decide if, hey, is this a better option for me? Can I maybe start the business with $200, $300, $500? Look, the other day, last week, my cousin from Australia, she told me, because I caught her like loving on a post on a network marketing, and she laughed at me 3 years ago. And I've told her this. I'll share the story another time. But last week she said, "How do you know this person?" I said, "I'm in the profession. I know everybody. Even if they don't know me, I know the company because I'm in the profession. I'm excited about this profession, so I want to learn about different companies, different products. What do they do? I want to know that stuff." So that's what it is. And she told me the lady is telling me the buy-in package to start is $10,000, and I was ready to pay it. And she laughed at my $300. When I told her how that works, she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, really. That's how that company works." Don't decide for people. Let them decide. I had somebody who sold a microwave to get in. I'm serious. He sold his microwave. It's not like I don't need a microwave, dude. Don't decide for people, right? But be postured about the conversations. And here's the thing, there is glory in saying, I don't know, but I'll find out for you. You don't have to lie, cheat, or steal, right? You don't have to just make something up. No, no, no. Again, you're doing a business. Why would you cheat your people, your customers, your people? Why would you do that? What kind of a culture would you want in your environment? Like, that blows my mind. Don't you want to know the answer if you don't know? Of course. You're like, you know what? That's a good question. I don't know, but I'll find out for you. And you do your absolute everything to find out, because there's always somebody who knows that answer. Simple. Be postured. Hey, is this costing me to do? At the end of the day, it doesn't cost you a dime if you don't like it. That's the answer. Watch the video. At the end of the day, it won't cost you a dime if you don't like it. If it's not a fit. Nobody's put a gun to your head to get in. Right? So look, at the end of the day, you want to be postured, which means don't give in so easy. When they say, is there a cost? Oh, well, don't worry about it. You can. No. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to cost you a dime if you don't like it, if it's not a fit. Watch the video, see if it's a fit. Well, I want to know. Well, watch the video if it's a fit. Well, I will answer this question. Watch the video, because the video answers your question. Watch the video. You always, what they say in our profession, and I love this saying. I'll end with this because I could go on about this topic forever. One thing that they say, and I love this, is all like, use the tools, don't be a tool. Use the tools, don't be a tool, which means the tools are the videos, the pamphlets, the stories, the groups on Facebook, whatever you guys use as a tool. Those are your tools. Use the tools. Right? So with that, again, tame your expectations and be postured. You're in it's a different world in direct sales and network marketing online. It's a different world. It's a different planet. Like, I've been in the mortgage industry for 19 years. I've had 38 jobs in 10 industries, 19 years of it in mortgage. So you name it, I've probably done it, right? So this is a whole different world. It's a different language, different conversations, different approach, and we live in a different world where an 8-year-old 2 years ago made $15 million on TikTok. What did you make when you were 8? It's a different world. So therefore, you gotta be up to date with the lingo and the conversations and the plugins and whatnot. So it's very important to pay attention to it. Like I said, tame your expectations. People tell me all the time, I want to make $5,000. Great. What are you going to do about it? What would you give up in order to get that? Oh, do I have to be on any training? I already know they're not going to make 5,000. What kind of a question is that? It's like you coming to me. I have a mortgage shop, right? If you came to me and said, I said, you could make about 10, 15,000 a month here. And they would say, well, do I have to make any phone calls? It's like, get the out of here. No, you don't have to do crap. Get out. What does that mean? Right? It's like you're magically want to hear another answer. No, you don't have to do any training. You just sleep at night, and then you just write the word network marketing on the flashcard and just put it on your forehead, and by osmosis in the morning you'll know everything. Like, what kind of a silly question is that? Doesn't make any sense. So be postured. Don't be afraid. What I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say to those of you who are in the profession, do not be afraid to have these conversations. Don't be afraid to have these conversations. And for those of you on the outside wanting to get in, don't ask these questions. Prepare yourself. Get ready. Don't set yourself up for failure. These are questions of failing people. No winner is going to come and ask you, do I have to make any phone calls to make 10 grand a month? The question would be, how many calls does it take a day to make that money? Don't ask yourself failing questions. You got to challenge your own questions. So, anyway, a little rant maybe tonight. T Money, are you still on? Or you just fall asleep on me? T Money is over on Facebook. Oh, we had a bunch of people on Instagram. Say what? Oh man, Cristo is from all the way from Colombia. Wow, that is so cool. I got people from Colombia, India, like the country India, and obviously all over U.S. and Canada. Very nice. So anyway, with that, hopefully you guys got some hard love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Um, like I said, I'm not here to sugarcoat stuff. I give it to you like it is. So don't ask me. Otherwise, I just give it straight up. That's just how I've been all my life. That, you know what? That's how I've been dealt with. Well, 50% of times, right? And the other 50, I wish that's how it was. Just I don't want sugarcoat. I want, that doesn't mean you put somebody down and break him like in pieces, right? But you don't give false information, false hope. That's why I always say tame your expectations. You got, somebody says I want to put in half an hour a day, but I want to make 5,000. How does that work in a job? Would you go to your job and say that, I want to make 3,000 a month, but I only want to work half an hour? They'd be like, what? Are you like on drugs? You're not? Well, you should be. Anyway, with that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I appreciate you. Drop your thoughts. Oh boy. Let me drop your thoughts, comments below. Let this feed grow. Let's go. I'm not afraid to have these conversations. I've never been. So this space, mortgage space, other jobs, I've just, I call it what it is. Sometimes we need that. We need that wake up call ourselves. You know, that's why I say don't ask yourself failing questions. Ask yourself winning questions. How many does it take? Not do I have to. How's that a winning question? Mom, do I have to? Or Mom, how can I help? So ask winning questions from yourself. And I know if you listen to this far, you know somebody who you want to say all this stuff to, but you're not going to. So share this with them, tag them here. Let me yell at them. Talk to them. That's what I meant. Let me do that. Yeah, talking with them and share it, tag them, do what you got to do. And if you're not following me, well, now it's a little rough. If it's your first time, hopefully it won't be your last time. If you're not following me, follow me. I'm raw. I'm very transparent. That's just who I am. And sometimes I crack a couple of jokes. Sometimes. And yeah, if you're not following me, you can follow me on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads, everywhere. I go with Side Gig Sean. With that, I am Sean Azimi. I'm somebody who was in the corporate world, call center environment. Like I said, 19 years in the mortgages. I used to work 12, 14, 16-hour days. I used to go to the office when it was dark. I would leave with the janitors when it was dark. No joke. That was my life. And yeah. Yeah. And I did that 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It didn't matter. It needed to be done. It was done. Right. And from all that to having my pancreas shut down on me, can't even get an 8-hour job, not even a customer care job. So, got to still pay the bills. So I got redirected to this whole online space, this whole gig economy, and that's where we are now. Now I help folks like you, like myself, to start a side gig, online, and we grow it using social media. If that resonates with you, oh boy, you're like, hell no. That resonates with you, drop the word side gig. Last night, somebody send me a message, said, hey, listen, I'm not into psychic stuff. I'm like, psychic? What are you talking about? So like you said, if you want a psychic, I'm like, no, 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 it's a side gig. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, wow, that's cool. That's the first time somebody ever said that to me. But if that resonates with you, drop the word side gig in the comments. I'll get back with you after this live. With that, I am signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over